welcome, everybody. This is the Broken Campfire podcast. I don't know if you guys know about this podcast. It's kind of new. But I hope you'll quickly learn it's the best gaming podcast out there.
Oh, we play games on it?
So are you telling us or who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you telling?
I knew about the podcast.
Yeah, I
All right. Sorry.
There's
Sorry,
a
guys.
podcast?
I was on the phone. I'm here. Oh, are we recording?
Yeah, we
We're
are.
recording now.
Oh yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Oh.
Who was that?
Oh. Well, that was
The audience.
the audience. Yeah.
the one audience. Yeah,
The audience
I
called.
haven't heard from them in a while.
It's better. It could be worse, I suppose.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
I'm Andy. I'm joined by everybody, as I think you've heard them all by now. Vito, Greg, Flask, and John.
The norms.
And if you guys like, you want to just advance this relationship that we've got going on from a casual podcaster audience relationship to something real, get a little sparks flying, you can email us, brokencampfire@gmail.com. Trust me, Flask, he's reading these, and I think you'll find him to be a treat.
Or they can call like they just did.
All right, moving on.
You can do both.
Could you just I don't think everyone caught it. Can you just read your phone number out loud again so that everybody knows what number it is to call?
You had to been listening in the pre-show. That's all I can say.
Okay. You can find that on Twitch later.
All that being said, let's get on to the the meat of the episode. We're going to start with Greg this week. Greg, you haven't gone first in a while.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited.
So am I. And what are you going to dazzle and razzle us and mostly the audience with?
The first thing I'm going to talk about, because I want to get the shit out of the way first, is I want to finish up my thing about WoW. First, I have to put on my corrections officer hat, or I have to take Flask and put it on.
That's all right.
Greg, are you sure you want to do that? I don't know if you know, but like the hat, the form carries with the hat.
Yeah, no, but this I feel like is owed because like I don't want to be that guy and say some wrong stuff and be wrong about it later.
Right.
Right.
I feel that.
So I made a comment last week where I was like, dude, the WoW community sucks. And I want to stand firm in that, but I want to say I also found the small crack of the good people in WoW. When I got to, I finished the one patch, and I'm on the last patch now. I finished it a few days ago. That's where all the cool people are hanging out. They're all helpful, they're all making groups and fighting the rare bosses, and they're all just having genuine fun. It's like a fun little playground area. I had fun in the beginning, and then I started losing interest very quickly. But that's on me because the main enemy for this new patch is robots, and I fucking hate fighting robots. They're not fun. They look
pal,
they look cool.
I don't think that one's on you.
They look cool. The whole area looks cool. I like the whole thing of it. I just hate fighting robots.
We all hate fighting robots.
They're boring. I don't like
robots. Suck.
Robots
and
are boring, soulless, lifeless.
I just don't care, bro.
I don't want to kill
me.
Blood. Program too, you know.
What if we just make them with like blue humans, but they don't have emotions?
Funny fact, Andy, there are blue humans in World of Warcraft. They're like angels. Blumens, yeah. They're called the Kyrian.
Spoilers for the latest stuff in World of Warcraft until 7:36.
But also I killed God. I killed Satan. Everybody, I killed God
and Satan.
Thanks for doing that.
They're like kind of like both.
They're both. Like they're Satan. It's this dude named the Jailer.
Hades.
Basically. This dude named the Jailer or Zoval. I talked about him last week where I was like, I don't know who this dude is. He's like evil, and now he's like super evil. But I kicked his head in, and it turns out Satan the whole time was a robot. Everybody,
Is that true?
I'd always suspected
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
In this raid, you don't do anything cool like you do in the other raids, where like there's no special thing like basically for the last raid of every expansion, something crazy has happened. Like in the one before this, you basically shoot an old god with a laser beam powered by the planet. In this one, you just kind of kick Satan to death with like your swords, and you poke at him with sticks, and then he's like, "Oh, the world is not ready for what's coming," and then he turns into a robot and dies. And I was like, what the fuck?
Now, is this the
It
writer's
sucked.
attempts to like salvage stuff they've been building up that nobody liked?
I don't. So what they're saying, and I don't know, this can't be true, but they kept saying this is the end of a story that started in Warcraft 3. And I mean, technically, because you know the Lich King, right? Like, all right, you guys get a fuck. Have you played? Any of you played Warcraft 3?
You asked this
Or
last
know
week, and
about
I said I
Warcraft 3?
played
Did
some
I?
of it, but didn't finish it. And you told you
Alright.
mentioned about like Arfie and his
Yeah,
Lich King ways and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you know the Lich King, right? Well, he made a comeback in the raid, which was pretty awesome. LMAO, just kidding. He was this tiny little spirit that popped up, and the main bad lady, Sylvanas, just made, who is now good. She just made fun of him
Oh,
for
they
a few
actually
minutes.
did redeem her.
Yeah,
in
she
the
got
writing?
redeemed. She's a good
Wow.
person now. But she did get punished at the end. I'm gonna spoil this right now because I don't care. But she did get her just desserts at the end, where she was punished. She is now punished to do what she did not want to do, and she has to wander
The dishes.
she has to wander the hell world and find all the souls that she sent there.
She
That
didn't
seems
turn out to
fair.
be a robot, also, right?
No, she's not a robot. She's just a bitch.
Got it.
But yeah, that's World of Warcraft. I will probably talk more down the line when they talk about the new expansion. That'll be in news in a few weeks. But God, I hope this expansion's good because I don't want to play World of Warcraft anymore.
You can stop. You can just
Stop
can
holding a
stop
gun to my
going.
friend Greg's head and forcing him
Greg,
to play World
yeah.
of Warcraft.
I have
This
Stockholm
podcast-
syndrome. Sorry.
The inevitable director's cut of this podcast is the story of how we showed you that there's other games out there.
Yeah, I play them. Final Fantasy, dude. But it's just I like the concept of
Just how earnestly you said that. I love it.
Yeah.
I like WoW, dude. I don't want to admit it that it's
all
a
memes-
fucking
all memes
shitty
aside,
game.
man. Everybody has their thing. You like MMOs. That's fine. Flask likes
Yeah.
these stupid, dumb, artsy PS2 platformers that nobody's ever
Yeah,
heard of.
So dumb. So dumb. I hate him.
Yeah, so
I get
fucking
like
dumb.
I get that everyone has their own thing, and like Blizzard as a
Greg,
company.
Greg
has-
likes his
has
games to
sucked.
treat him like shit. That's really
Yeah,
what it is. He's
that's
a little
really what it
sadist.
is. I think I
Well,
just like
that's-
I think because I don't
That's
see
the thing,
myself
like,
in
you
a
gotta
good
make sure,
light.
like you can get stuck into an addictive dopamine cycle that you're in because dopamine, but also you're just not happy with.
That's funny. I was gonna say, but Andy, I haven't had a dopamine hit since I like play for the last few days playing this game. I'm just doing it to do it because I'm like, dude, I gotta get this shit done so I can stop playing it, and I don't think about this shit until the next update.
I feel like the
But,
twist of this podcast is going to be Greg turning out to be a robot at the end.
Maybe I am a robot.
We're going to kick off his
Um,
head, and he's going to be wires.
You're not a robot.
But that is
Greg.
to be said. While there is a bunch of shit going on at the moment, I am finding some fun stuff to do. So I can't give it I can't be complete. Right now, my experience is a solid 6.5 out of 10. One thumb kind of up, and the other thumb not up at all.
That's more than I would have thought.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
There's parts of this expansion I fucking hate, like the Maw, which is like this tiny little area off in nowhere. I hate it. It's stupid. It's dumb, and I just don't have fun when I'm there. That's why I never go back to that place. So I think the next expansion is going to be great. And I'll keep saying that until it happens.
Turn against your programming.
It's against my programming.
No,
to,
you need to
not
turn
to hate
against
WoW.
your program.
No, I'm saying it's against my program to hate WoW.
Yeah. Turn
Oh, but
against
that's
it, man.
WoW. I don't want to talk anymore about that. Fuck that game. My next game I want to talk about, and John can talk a tiny bit about it also. We played SCP Labrat, which is a VR game. It is in early development right now. I think we played it for like 2 hours. Pretty cool, dude. I think that game's gonna. It's literally just SCP, dude. The what is it? Secret Lab that we played, or the SCP Containment Breach, the single player version.
Yeah, it's
It's
just the single player version of Containment Breach, but in VR.
It's
They
built for
have
VR.
a experimental kind of multiplayer
Okay.
version right now.
Cool.
It's up to 5 people. And I say experimental because, we did play and I still did have a lot of fun. We
There's bugs,
restarted
and it's
4 or
gang,
5
very
times.
Pretty gang.
Well, just eventually, you're gonna desync. I mean, the thing that it was jank. Everything when it was synced up, everything was cool. But I mean, we restarted 4 or 5 times, and every one of them eventually ended up
'cause-
in us being desynced. Like
Ooh.
maybe they'd seen NPC and I wouldn't see it. I think they still
Or
got
like
some
the
bugs.
flashlight wouldn't
So,
work.
yeah.
But it was also free,
But
so like
It was
whatever,
it was free, and it was pretty dang fun. But
I mean,
all the SCP
free and
games was-
VR is pretty big.
yeah. I mean, and we had a good time doing it. So that was
Yeah, it was
fun to
fun.
check out if you had a crew. I mean, it's probably fun even alone if you want to get spooked.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So is that? Did I do anything else? No. Okay. I have one thing I wanted to talk about. So, anime. Hold on one sec. I'm sorry.
Anime.
All right. So this season of anime has ended officially, and I kind of wanted to do this thing. I want to start doing this thing where I talk about anime because I feel like I don't do it enough. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll talk about anime.
Yeah, dude.
But I know people don't like it.
That's literally your role. You're the chief anime consultant.
Exactly. So I'm gonna start talking about anime. This season, not a lot of stuff I watched. I mean, there's a few. Demon Slayer, which I'm sure a lot of us watched. That was great. Everyone knows what that is, right?
I mean, I actually haven't seen it, but I do
I
know
know
You
Is
about
that
haven't
the
it.
one with
seen
the,
I plan
is
to
the one
watch
with the
it at some point.
goblins?
No, Vito, stop.
Piece of shit.
You fucking,
up?
you and Andy do the same fucking meme every time
They
I
both
bring
have
up
s-
either.
No, it's
they
not a meme.
they both have
man.
Slayer in the name, dude.
Yeah, well, what's the
That's
one I'm
it.
thinking of?
You're thinking of
Oh,
Goblin
maybe
Slayer.
thinking of the goblins. No, maybe the one with the goblins is Goblin Slayer, and the one with the demons
Oh, it
is
is.
Demon
It's
Slayer.
just called
Oh,
Goblin
shit.
Slayer.
John, all right, John, you got a good idea going here.
My bad.
I
All
don't
right, so
know.
this one, this
I'm-
one
I'm
looks like.
confused.
But yeah,
Don't-
this is.
Don't you watch Demon Slayer with somebody else in our group?
Oh, they're not
Me,
so.
Vito.
Me?
Oh, yeah, you, Greg.
Yeah, me and Knoxville watched it.
Okay,
together.
okay. I was gonna say
It was
I knew there
that
someone
and
else.
that and Attack on Titan, which
Right.
I think the last episode, which I don't understand, is supposed to be this weekend because they have 7
Uh-huh.
chapters left, and I don't see 7 chapters being in that episode in 23 minutes. But yeah, so Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan I watched. This one's probably gonna give me some shit, but I watched Dress Up Darling also, My Dress Up Darling, which is, in my opinion, one of the main 3 anime to watch this season.
All right, so let me just. This is a warning moment for me. I'm just going to tell you when you say "dress up, darling."
well, that's exactly. I'm gonna like. I was
Hang
gonna
on,
read
I'm
off.
thinking of like those old like softcore porn games on like Newgrounds where you could like
Yup.
dress up like princesses and stuff.
Yes. So
Oh,
I
so
knew
that's
that you
what
were
it
gonna do
is.
that.
Okay.
That's why I was gonna go deeper into this.
Well,
So
I'm just
this
saying. I'm
anime-
just clearing the air. That's
Well,
that's
yeah,
my
I
thought
know,
process right now.
That's because I knew I was going to talk about this, and I knew you were going to bring that up. That's why I even said this is going to give me a little bit of shit in the beginning. So this is about a high school student named Wakana, and his basically all he does all day besides go to school is he makes Hina dolls, which are those tiny little fancy dolls you see in Japan. And that's all he does all day is he just does that shit. He ends up meeting this girl named Marin, and she basically asks him because she sees like his dolls that he can like sell and stuff, and she asks him to make her a cosplay for her because she can't do it. She's not good at making like her hobby. So he makes an outfit for her, and the entire anime is just about him making her cosplay outfits, explaining like how like the process of him making these outfits, and then the finished product.
It sounds like it should be a YouTube channel, not a fucking anime. Is it
Well,
like,
there's lots
like
of
a
anime
how
like
There's like
Oh, yeah?
more to it. But that's like the main thing is that he is making he's making her cosplay outfits, and then there's like romance
There's
and
a
all that
narrative
stuff in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's actually a fun idea.
Nice little slice of life. Cozy
Yeah.
little-
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that's a whole genre that's emerged over the last decade is like
Slice of life?
hobbyist anime,
Okay.
were they like
Yeah, some
actually
of them are
explain
very
the
good.
process of how they do
So,
the thing in the anime.
I mean, I'm not actually sorry. I'm not actually expecting to learn anything from this, but you know, how educational is that process? Like, obviously, you're not going to be able to follow it along because it's an anime, but like,
Yeah, I
does
mean,
it,
I've
does it
learned
genuinely
shit
tell
like,
you what you're doing?
I mean, kind of. I've learned shit like about makeup for cosplaying that I had no idea about. Like one of the things they talk about is there's this tape you can use, and if you want to change the shape of your eyes, you tape certain parts of your eyes,
Right,
and it will like
right.
change the shape of it. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've
You
heard
can
about
tape your
that. Yeah.
eyelids and
Yeah.
or your
What's the name of
cheek
the-
back.
Yeah,
What's the
you
name
can
of
tape your
the
cheek
type of
down.
eyelid?
It's called duct tape.
Yeah, it's just super duct tape, just bam on the eye. But they talk about that. They talk about wigs, certain types of like sewing, which I thought was interesting. And yeah, they just basically go through that shit.
That's cool. That's a lot more
Epic.
wholesome than what Andy's fucking sick. You're fucking
Yeah,
sick.
that's
Andy.
why,
I can't
in my
believe you
opinion, I
even-
think anime usually gets a bad rap because they have these crazy ass names, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what is this crazy name? But then the anime is like pretty nice, and you're like, damn, dude. All right.
Epicantic fold. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
What's that?
The eyelid treatment is typically used to like reduce or the epicantic fold. You know.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, all right, Bill Nye.
Yeah, that sounds way too scientific for me. I'm just here for the anime. All
Well, I'm
right.
gonna take your word on this one. Attack on Titan only has like what, 1 episode left, 2 episodes left.
It does, but that's like I said earlier. It has one more episode, and their episodes. This one has to be longer because they have 7 chapters left to do, and it's unless they rush a lot of stuff, it is physically impossible for there to be that much shit.
And I have no idea on this, but maybe they're doing like a switch ending. You know what I mean? People didn't care for the anime very much in the manga. Maybe he's like, all right, I'll try something new for the anime. I mean, I have no idea. Maybe they are doing an hour-long final episode, or maybe they're doing like an. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. I haven't.
What I think, and Laser said something about it, but I feel like they're gonna end up stopping this one episode, and then they're gonna make a movie, like an hour-long movie.
I don't know if I'd. I mean, I could see them doing that. I don't know if I'd like that idea though.
I wouldn't like that idea, but that's kind of what I can see. Like them seeing how like Demon Slayer's Infinity Train did really well. I feel like, all right, boom, we'll do that.
Right.
Oh, there's 2 more anime I watch. I gotta find them on this list. I'm sorry, Flask. I'm
You're
also
okay.
making noise with my.
That's right. That last one was
my
actually.
wheel.
I'm glad you brought that one up. That was
the
interesting.
last 2 are just stupid shit that I'll watch because I just read the manga. The next one I watched is The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, and that's like as Flask knows, those power ones that I love so much, where it's this guy who reincarnates himself into a world in the future, and magic's just shit, and he's basically a sage from I think 100 or 1,000 years ago, and he's super strong. And it's just him going around blowing shit up and murdering people, murdering demons, not people. He's like a hero.
He's like some sort of demon slayer.
Yeah, he's like a sage. He's like Sage Slayer. That's probably the best way to describe that.
Thank you.
Or yeah. And the last one is the second season for another one I like. Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest. Now,
yes.
I originally watched this because I liked the premise where it was this class, and they got a set guide, and one of the students blew this kid off off the side of a dungeon, and he fell all the way to the bottom. Got his arm bitten off by a monster, and he just survived. He basically survived in this bottom area by drinking this magic water that he found after he was like bleeding to death in a cave. And he ends up saving this vampire girl, and then he gets like all these superpowers. But in season 2, it basically just turned into a harem shit where it's him doing something, and then a bunch of girls are just fawning over him, which I used to like those, but now they just kind of suck, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah, I really have nothing to say about those two. But yeah, that's really all for that season. Next season though, I'm gonna have, because there's a shit ton of anime coming out that I'm interested in, that I'm excited for. Like Shield Hero gets a second season, Flask. I think me and you've talked about that once.
Okay, yeah.
That's getting a second season, which is awesome. There's one about a skeleton paladin that's coming out. There's gonna be a lot of shit. I'm excited. Skeleton paladin.
How can it be?
And this one last thing, I only started it today, but I wanted to let John know. I started watching One Piece.
Oh, you're gonna catch up to us, huh?
Yeah, I'm on episode 7.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Our
I
crew
just
gets
watched them.
bigger.
I just watched them punch a cannon and into Buggy's face, and he was like, "What?
Buggy boy."
Oh, Buggy boy."
Nice, dude. I'm glad to hear it.
I was I was thinking about it, and I was like, dude, it angers me that I'm interested in One Piece, but I was like, dude, 1,000 episodes.
It's just a lot.
And
of
then every morning when I go to work, I see you guys watch a few episodes. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna catch the fuck up. Fuck this.
Oh,
I decided that. And
that show does seem sick, but I don't even think I wouldn't even want to start it. And it's not even done. It's just, that's insane.
Oh, dude, it ain't gonna be done for a while.
I feel you.
Do I have anything else? No, I don't. That's it.
All right. The Anime Man is back, and personally, I'm glad to see
Anime
it.
is back, kids.
That was a lot of
I
fun.
liked it.
Vito.
Oh,
All right.
Oh, wait,
let's
shit.
just-
I'm sorry, hold on. One more thing, because I forgot to talk about it last
of
week, and I want to bring it up.
course.
I wrote a fucking note on this.
Yes. Go ahead, yeah.
One game that I have started playing, me and Kurt are playing it, Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise. I completely forgot to talk about this game last week, but because I think WoW burnt my brain out. That game, that's the Kill Chaos game for Final Fantasy. Dude, that game is just Neo.
Oh.
Just Neo. But it's Neo with all the Final Fantasy jobs, like Kurt unlocked Ninja, of course. I just unlocked I think the last thing we did was he unlocked Ninja, I unlocked Void Knight, and we've just been fucking shredding through that game. It's a lot of fun. But it's fun if you like Neo. The story's insane. I'm pretty sure Jack's a little bit brainless.
Yeah.
But it's whatever.
So I am not privy to, Final Fantasy, most of the stuff about Final Fantasy, but I just learned recently that it's a prequel to the first game, which I did not know.
That's what Zach kept telling me. I've never played, I'm very new to Final Fantasy. The first game I played was 15, and then I went to 14, and so that's where all my lore is from, is 14. But yeah, Zach was telling me that it's that this apparently the guy you're playing as is like Chaos himself. So I was like,
Right, he's like the
I have
villain
no-
of the first game.
Yeah, he's like the main villain, but
pretty
he
crazy.
hates Chaos so far. And I've kicked Chaos in the head multiple times, or a form of Chaos. So I don't know, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy is really cool now, or at least I think it was. When I was a kid, I was like, dude, that stuff looks dumb as hell.
Apparently that game is selling very poorly in Japan.
Yeah, that game sold poorly everywhere. But I mean, I kind of get that, but I feel like that's just because the way they meme that game up
Right.
with
yeah.
Jack. Jack is well, I think it's awesome. I think it's very what is the way to describe that game? That game's like a B movie, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
With how Jack and everybody acts. Like it's very funny. Co-op is a lot of fun though. Co-op I think is great. Definitely 3-player co-op as, you know, the greatest co-op. Me and Kurt play it. Just watching Kurt running around screaming, grabbing dudes and like snapping their spine and them exploding into crystals in front of me is very funny to watch.
Classic.
But also playing anything with Kurt's really funny. Yeah, that's what I got. Well, I'm sure I'll have more to say later once we get back to playing it. That's all I got.
Cool.
A
That was pretty
chock full
chaotic.
episode. That was
All right.
chaotic. That was all over the place.
All right. Yeah. Still playing, making my way through Elden Ring. You know, I only get on to play games a couple nights a week, and when I get on, you know, I'm just super stoked to play more Elden Ring. I mean, I mentioned to Andy the other night, like, you know, the bare minimum at which I judge a game would be like my desire to keep playing it. And, you know, Elden Ring has that in spades. Like, I just want to keep playing it.
That's
It's
good.
very highly addictive. About 70 hours in, and I just reached the capital, Landel capital, for the first time. Yeah, still loving it. I noticed. I mean, light spoilers. We've all talked spoilers on the pod, but like a lot of bosses are repeating now, which is like a, you know, that's like a Dark Souls trope. So it's to be
Mhm.
expected, but I just noticed it like a lot all of a sudden in this one area, which is fine, but you know,
It does happen more as it goes along,
Okay,
for sure.
I
I mean, you're witnessing that.
yeah. I think that's all I have to say about Dark Soul. Fucking Elden Ring. Unless anybody has any questions or anything. You guys are good.
No,
I have no questions, but
I'm-
smelly ring.
We've been kind of saving a lot in the bag for the spoiler pod, and I don't necessarily want to spin off this whole yarn yet, but I definitely feel what you were saying about the duplicated bosses, and I think that's kind of a consequence of making big open world game. You know, it's somewhat forgivable, but I was a little bit disappointed by just how often it happened towards the end.
It's just interesting because up until this point, it hasn't happened a lot, and there have been like a ridiculous amount of boss fights, original boss fights. Like every time I run, I can't believe how many bosses there are in this game. It's crazy. And just all of a sudden, once I got to this one area, like within like a very small radius, there are like multiple repeat bosses, which is
Right.
fine for now. I just kind of hope it doesn't continue to be like, you know, like I get it. I've played all the, you know, Dark Souls games. I get it. You're going to fight a boss, and then later on, either that boss is going to become like a regular enemy, which is cool, or like it'll be a boss fight, but with like 2 of them. And that's happened like at least a couple times so far. So, yeah, no, still digging it. Still loving it though. I
I
don't
will
really have
say
much-
that sorry, just didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll
No,
say
please,
that
please.
the optional stuff I think is much more, or sorry, the duplication is much more apparent in the optional stuff, and I think the main path, especially towards the end, does provide you a lot of cool, unique bosses still.
Okay, cool.
not even just the main path. I mean, there are still cool, unique bosses hidden out there.
And there's something cool about fighting a boss that you fought earlier later on, because it is a different experience, because you're a different player, you have different moves, you have a different build at that point. So it is a different perspective, and it's cool. I just happened to notice literally as soon as I walked into the capital, like the first 3 bosses I fought were bosses from like the first area of the game. Like I said, it's fine for now. I don't have that much to talk about. That was kind of it. I did reach season 12 of Bob's Burgers, which I know is not very timely, but I'm like in the middle of season 12. That's the most recent season. And that's like a big deal for me because I don't watch like 12 seasons of fucking anything. I don't really watch a lot of TV. Right. I gotta say, there's like a rule for a lot of shows that shows shouldn't go past like season 8. They start to go stale. I have never watched a show more consistent than Bob's Burgers. I think all the way through, even season 12 is just as good as season 1. There's like no jump the shark moment that I noticed. It's just like a fucking perfect show. Wow. And it's great, and it's funny, and it's cozy. And
how many seasons are there?
I do like.
There's 12. There's 12 seasons. 12 seasons.
Okay, there are 12.
Yeah,
and
I don't know
if movie.
There's a movie coming out. I don't know if there's plans for season 13. I just haven't looked it up. I'm sure that information's out there, but yeah, great fucking show. And it's just like a show where you could just keep writing that if you wanted to for a while, because you just have a town and you have these characters, and the plots are like fucking simple things. It's like one character learns to garden, but they spin like a crazy story out of that, you know? So I think it's just a great show. I really enjoyed it.
I have one thing that turns me off of that show a little bit, and I'm sure it's something that I would get over.
Yeah.
What? What were you gonna say?
Well, I had a thing too. About
I think you said the name of the show quickly. Can you say it one more time?
I'm talking about Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers, right?
My
I have
thing is
thing
that okay, let me say, and then you can say. My thing is that
I'll count down to 3, and you say it at the same time.
No. Have Flask go first. I don't know if it's gonna be the same thing.
Enough.
The wife's voice. What's her name?
Oh, don't be a hater, dude.
Don't be a hater, bro. Linda Belcher.
Of all the people, that's the one.
She's
the boy
best
for me, dude. I hate the boy.
Yeah, I'm with John.
Oh,
I was gonna.
Is there
go on,
some?
Flask.
I don't even know what the boy's voice is.
Just
from literally just from clips I've seen, very rarely. Just the fact that it's like this caricature done by like
it's really not
guy.
It's really not. It's a Long Island accent, and it's
okay.
Spot on.
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe it's a little exaggerated.
Annoying. It's definitely like annoying. Like I'm not like this lady's like I would not want my wife to have that. Yeah, it's kind of like the lady in the nanny or whatever. You know, it's just like a
right.
Yeah, actually, I think that actor is doing the voice of his real life mother, who's like a Long Island accent, and it's a very spot on. I think that character is great. That voice is great. My thing.
That's why I'm saying, like, maybe if I got more used to it, like maybe if I actually watched the show, I'd be like, it doesn't bother me anymore.
I'm surprised you haven't seen that one. That seems like a show that would be up your alley.
It's very like a mild show, like which I like.
Yeah,
like it's
you can find something
extremely
in everybody.
mild. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's just cozy and enjoyable, and it's fucking funny.
You got a favorite character?
Bob, probably Bob. I was gonna say, as far as like if I had any what's the word thing I didn't like about the show, and it was the same route as you don't like Linda's voice for some reason, but I think that Gene and Louise, their voices could get pretty grating at times, because like they're characters that almost solely just scream.
Who are they?
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
But you guys are picking on something I picked up on too, is that there's a certain shrill affect to some of the humor, to some of the same as the characters are trying to make, and I think Linda's the worst about this.
Oh wow!
Personally, personally, I I think I'm able to get over that, but it's definitely something I've noticed.
I don't know who.
I'm shocked by that.
Voice.
Maybe it's because I'm from New York and like
Yeah,
that
didn't bother
accent is
me
a
as much.
real. It's a real way that people talk. Like,
I mean, I
my
think
mom
it's-
talks like that. I talk.
I don't mean she talks unrealistically. I just mean that, like, you know, I'm kind of agreeing with what Flask is saying. You know.
Sure.
I think if there's any voice in the show that's, I don't like Gene as a character. If there's any voice, it's I'm gonna butcher her last name, but Kristen Sakal. She's a famous
Louise,
actress.
right?
She's in other stuff. You know, she's yeah. She
Oh,
plays
Kristen
Louise.
Shaw.
Yeah,
Yeah, her voice. Her voice is the most.
Yeah, she
grating
plays
in the whole
Louise.
show.
I hate her. That's like an actual voice. I kind of wish the character would talk less.
And I like the character. I just think there's certain episodes, like a lot of them, honestly, where the way she speaks, communicates, is solely screaming, and it's like,
Oh.
all right, I don't think you need to be screaming for
Yeah,
this
she does
joke
that
to
a
be
lot,
funny.
though. I feel like that's just like her kind of. Not that I'm excusing. I think it's annoying in most things she does, but that's kind of like a shtick of hers. Just I don't know.
A little bit, yeah.
Being
I do like her.
loud.
She's in
A lot of stuff.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Oh
good on
wait,
that.
she voiced Mabel on Gravity Falls. Yeah, I don't like her voice very much.
Oh. And she does live action stuff too. Regular
Right.
size Rudy, dude. And that's
Regular
my
Size
favorite.
Rudy. Oh, my favorites are Teddy and Zeke.
Teddy's pretty solid. Oh, they're both solid.
Yeah. But anyway, that's Bob's Burgers, a show that's been on air for many years.
My only interaction with Bob's Burgers is from Archer, where he gets like hit in the head and he thinks he's Bob from Bob's Burgers.
That was like a crossover, right? Yeah, I heard about
yeah, yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
it. That's all I got though. My little round table.
Oh, so yet another roundtable where Vito was like begging us not to call on him before the pod because he had nothing to talk about, and yet time has gone by and content has been set, and I even
Yeah,
laughed a few
well,
times
you
along the
know,
way. I
It's
even
like
laughed
the
a few times
equivalent
along the way.
of when your teacher asks you to write like a fucking essay and it's got to be like one page. So like you take like one sentence and just fucking
right,
you
right,
know,
like
drag it out.
when you watch
Those-
like
those are my
the
round
core,
tables.
like when you watch like the core, and then the next class is like the discussion about the core. It's like basically 2 free periods for the teacher. I get you.
What, the core? Why the core? Why did you bring up the core specifically?
I watched the core like 4 or 5 times in school. It was crazy.
What?
Is that
I don't
does
know
that
why. It was
movie
like-
like have any scientific like fucking clout?
Basis? Merit?
No, that's the reason. It has like the exact opposite. It's like amazing how many errors there are. You could spend like
Okay.
hours talking about it.
So that's the way
There's a lot of
teacher
movies you
presented
could
Yeah,
have
yeah, that was
you
the-
could have watched Armageddon. You could have watched Dante's Peak. That's another
Deep
like
Impact.
Deep Impact. There's so many.
Yeah, but like
bad
the core is
sci-fi
like
movies.
the core is unique in that it is mostly about science. It's just all fake. Like
Particularly
it-
egregious, yeah.
yeah, like it's all about like scientists and engineers like collaborating to figure out a solution to a problem that doesn't make sense, and their solution doesn't make sense, and then like all the problems, consequences of their, you know, nothing makes sense along the way, but they're all like super self-serious and like acting like it's like grounded science. It's like amazing. It's totally fiction. It's actually a
I
pretty
like that
funny
movie.
movie in that
I
way.
enjoy that movie.
Yeah,
I think when I seen it when I was a kid.
I mean, a movie doesn't have to be educational; it just has to be entertaining, right?
Oh
Who
yeah,
cares?
I
But-
love
but, like-
I
but
love
I
those
guess-
fucking shitty action science movies.
I'm about to watch Moonfall soon at some point. The new Roland Emmerich.
Oh yeah, or the moon's
Moons
coming
fall
into the Earth.
towards Earth.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
Um,
that, Vito. That was fun. Flask,
Vito, it's funny
you.
Vito, it's funny you mentioned Dante's Peak because I watched Dante's Peak for the first time a little while ago.
Oh yeah,
For some reason, and it's actually not bad in terms of just depicting the sort of scientific process of volcanologists.
oh really?
Yeah, it's like it actually shows the sort of work that they might do. Obviously, it delves into movie logic at times and is not entirely accurate, but apparently a lot of volcanologists are like, yeah, that's all right. You know, it shows the day-to-day volcanologist work, you know, like the stuff that we might do.
That's funny.
So apparently
I
it's-
don't know why I brought that one. I just remember I was just thinking of like movies where natural disasters like are
Mhm.
imminent or whatever. I remember. I don't even remember Pierce Brosnan's in that, right? I think.
Yes. So apparently that's one of
Dude,
the better ones, though.
When we're done doing Harry Potter, we should do whatever genre movies that is.
Disaster
We do
movies.
Disaster movies. Yeah, we did Day After Tomorrow and fucking Day After Tomorrow 2. Is there a second one in
I
that?
don't think there's a sequel, though. I would have loved one.
2 Days After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
I was just waiting
Andy's
for
next.
your interjections to end, but that's okay. I don't got.
Oh, you think I'm done?
Not quite by half. I wanted to progress a little bit on my Subnautica discussion. I think I was kind of middling last time, and this time I've come prepared. I have just some reminders for Flask, who's a bit skeptical about the technical performance problems. Skeptical is maybe not the right word. You weren't doubting me. You were just saying you didn't remember it.
Right. I just didn't have them, I don't think.
I do actually think I'm closer to like having a positive opinion about the game. No, I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. Let me just say that. But like some of the stuff, Flask, no autosave. Saving takes time. Sometimes like tens of seconds, to the point where like I'm afraid sometimes to quit the game because I don't know if the saving is finished. Like actually a lot of getting stuck things where I'm worried I'm going to lose hours of progress because I'm going to have to like quit and reload or something because I got stuck in between a ledge in a stair, and I usually ended up like getting out of that after like a few minutes of just spamming buttons until I pop out.
Huh. I honestly don't remember anything like either way. I don't remember having the experience of bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just a bit disappointing when I was kind of. I'm enjoying the atmosphere and stuff. There's just like every now and then like something like some fucking old game jank, and a game that doesn't feel that old. Like a game feels like it's probably a spaghetti code mess. I'll be honest.
Are you just playing this on Steam?
Game Pass, maybe that's part of it.
Maybe it is the Game Pass version. I don't know.
It
I have no idea.
Certainly be. All that being said, I've spoilers for Subnautica. I've gotten to the point where I've explored the ship now, and I've got like a lot of recipes, and I think I know like my general path to the end game. I'm kind of excited for that loop. I just gotta put the time into it. There's a lot of good games out there, you know.
Hmm. It's a chill game for sure that you kind of like slowly creep your way through.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have anything to update on like my personal watch front. I kind of just been throwing on comfort shows late at night. Whose Line Is It Anyway? I'd never seen any of the Whose Line with Aisha Taylor. Aisha Tyler?
Okay, yeah.
Taylor?
Aisha
I
Tyler,
don't think I
yeah.
have either.
Tyler. It definitely doesn't feel the same without Drew Carey, but it's still a lot of fun. Like, I'm laughing and stuff. There's still some good bits. I mean, it has Wayne Brady, Colin Mockery, Ryan Stiles. The fourth chair is rotating, but it's often Jeff Davis, who is always my favorite.
I think I
Did
watched
they eventually
some of that.
find out whose line it was?
Well, they kind of find that every now and then. That's a fun show if you just want like a total comfort side entertainment show.
Yeah,
They keep a good energy. It's a lot of fun.
it is.
Then I wanted to bring up the discussion of our ongoing group rewatch for most of us of the
HP?
Harry Potter franchise.
Shaboy.
This week we watched the first 3 movies in Harry Potter: Sorcerer's Stone. Sorry, hang on. Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. And then after Prisoner of Azkaban last night, we did a palate cleanser of watching Wizard People Dear Reader, which is, I'd never heard of it, but apparently at one point was ubiquitous and like people talked about it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's from the mid 2000s already, so it's like
it's like an old
by the
internet
standards. Brad Neely is the guy who did it.
Yeah, so it's an audio track made by Brad Neely, meant to replace the soundtrack of the first Harry Potter movie, and it's in perfect sync with it. And it's fucking, oh man. Well, we can get to that in a minute. We can talk about the Harry Potter first. How you guys feeling about the first 3 movies so far? Vito, hang on. I want your opinion first.
Come on. Well, the second half of all 3 movies was good.
He never misses a second act. Nobody can fault him for that.
I had seen these when I was a kid. I think
you told me that you'd seen the first 2.
Yeah, I think the first 2 and then parts of maybe the third one. I think I've seen parts throughout the whole series because like those are the movies that would just like be on HBO, and maybe if I was channel surfing back when I like watched TV like that, I might have caught some bits. Also, I read at least the first 2 books.
Okay,
yeah, they're good. Okay. They're fun. They're whimsical. Full of magic. What of it? I told you, if I was in school with Harry Potter, I would hate him too. He's a little shit.
Well, you know, I'm just. What can you say about Harry Potter? You know, we were having a lot of fun watching it. You know, yeah, fun rewatch.
I had a lot of questions, and I've kept getting more questions as I watched it. Questions
was your first time watching them, or
No, I liked watching them. It's
just
like,
that was your first time though. You've seen them before?
No,
or that was...
no, I've seen them before.
Oh.
You got any questions you want to air out here?
I mean, they're all like lore questions. They're not really like amazing. Like, one thing I was thinking about is, and everyone knows this shit. Filch or Vito becomes a bad guy at the end, basically, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Why does he? I was thinking this. Why does he become a bad guy? Like, I feel like he
prick, dude.
He's kind of just an asshole, and he lives at he's probably lived in Hogwarts and worked there for like 60 years, dude. He's not going anywhere. And when the bad guys come and take over Hogwarts at the end, he's probably just like, yeah, sure, cool, let's go along with it.
But that's a perfect point. That's what brings me to my point is in the second one, Chamber of Secrets. This big thing is Filch finds his cat petrified, and he goes fucking ballistic. He like almost kills HP about this. He's like, I die, he's just rambling like a psychopath. And then he gets cured, and like basically that's the only thing he gives a shit about that cat. And the person who did that to that cat was Voldemort. And surely Filch knew that. So why the fuck would Filch join him and be like, oh yeah, you did that to my
memory, you know.
All right.
Do people get paid in the?
Sorry, I would like to clarify this misinformation that I've been spreading. Filch does eventually turn good at the very end.
Yeah, quote unquote. Yeah,
an inside man.
Once Voldemort has been disintegrated,
he
says, "Oh, go Harry Potter."
Yeah, basically. Yeah, Filch.
I knew it. I knew he wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the kind of guy who thinks things through enough to think about like who's doing what or playing and what.
I mean,
yeah,
really
consequences. He just follows who is ever above him in the hierarchy of power. He's just like,
all right.
He kept his job. He kept his job after everything.
Yeah. To be fair, we call him evil mostly because whatever movie it is, and that lady takes over. Like he's kind of the one hanging up all the rules and stuff. You know what I mean? Really,
yeah,
he's just following the principle, even though she's an evil bitch.
He also does like threaten to like chain the students up and stuff. So.
Yeah, he hates kids, but that's just a part of his character.
Yeah.
Does he get paid? Did any of these teachers get paid in Hogwarts?
Yes, they get paid.
Yeah,
I'm sure they
paid?
get free room and board, dude. Like they fucking everything's handed to them. They got fucking slaves downstairs. The elves are.
But I'm saying, do you need money in the wizard world?
Yeah,
Can't you just
yeah,
create?
they have their own money,
here's
Vito.
the thing: if you were to watch,
Can't just create whatever you want.
If you were to watch the first act of these fucking movies, you would have seen Harry go to the bank and pull out money to buy stuff, and you would know that Ron's poor as fuck, and that's why everyone makes fun of him.
Why don't they just cast a spell that makes food?
Because they don't do that.
I mean, they
Well,
don't
the
do that.
They
the
don't do
Philosopher's
that.
Stone from the
Okay.
first movie is said to be able to turn matter into gold permanently, and that's like part of its power. So they
Well,
can't
forget
just
gold.
do that
There
normally.
are-
Just make hot
There
dogs.
is-
What if you had a spell that just made hot dog?
There are certain rules, one of which is you can't just create food.
Seriously?
What the fuck?
That's
Why
so
is that a
fucked up.
rule?
So they're just,
You
they're
can't-
oppressing.
You can't create money. You can't create food.
So they're creating rules just to create poor people. Real nice, Dumbledore or whoever's in charge of the wizard world.
I don't know if we
Fucking
know
That's just
why
how
they're
magic
doing
works,
this.
bro.
I think that, yeah, I think they take it as a fundamental limitation of magic.
I have
Bullshit.
one more
I've seen them do
question I
crazier
wanna-
things than
You guys, how are you
magic.
gonna make
I
that food,
asked-
Vito? You're making like you're creating life to make that food. You can't do that as a magician.
Don't they create stuff all the time?
No, what are you talking?
No.
You know,
I mean,
you
they
watch
can-
the
they
first
can-
act of the fucking movies, Vito.
They rarely well, I mean, they can conjure shit, I think, but like mostly what you're seeing is transfiguration, like turning one thing into another.
What's the
I
point
mean,
of
the biggest
magic
thing
if
that
you
they
can't
probably
end
do
world
is-
hunger? Tell
That's
me
the
that.
problem. That's the problem.
The-
Vito.
the
That's
biggest
why
thing
you
that
don't
they
like
probably
magic,
do
'cause you don't
is-
fucking get it.
The biggest thing they probably do is the Aguamenti spell, which just seemingly creates water out of thin air. But
Yeah.
you have to ask your question, like, are they turning the air molecules into liquid?
Or are
And
they
it's
just
like, is
taking
that the
water
way?
from somewhere else magically?
Right.
That's how
is there
that's
a
how
lake
all the
somewhere
food in
that's-
the yeah, that's all the food
That's
in the
water.
banquet hall works.
They're sucking the water out of like 100 people.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Seeing
maybe. I
people
guess.
are like
That'd be
90%
funny.
water or whatever.
That's the real Dark Lord shit I want to do is like be able to cast anti-augmenti to extract the water from somebody's body.
Yeah,
This shit's
Jesus.
fucked up, man. I can't believe you can't
Just
create
shrivel
food.
them up like a little raisin.
Does that
right
make
there.
sense to create food? Why would you
That's
wanna
just
do that?
the magic is bullshit. Magic is just
Not
capitalism
bullshit.
with extra steps. It's
You're-
fucking
It's not
garbage.
that they can't.
you
It's not that there's a rule against it. It's just how
crazy.
could they do it? They'd be like creating life. You can't just poof make a person, right? So why would you be able to
Right.
poof make a cow?
I think it's like you're already filled with magic. Like it's part of you. It's inside you. You can't just eat magic. Like you need actual calories and stuff.
That's why. That's why you're a squib. You just don't get it, dude.
I just want my damn food pill, John. You
Yeah,
can
no,
relate
no.
to that. Come on,
That's- now I
man.
can, now I can relate to. That's a science thing. That's not a magic thing. That's science, dude.
I think I think I do agree with you though, Vito, that like it is just kind of like a bullshit conceit of the world.
No
Like,
way. The money one I get. The food one makes sense to me.
I'm with John.
Like you can't create life. And maybe if it was some sort of
why couldn't they turn a chair into a hot dog?
Well, why couldn't they use?
That's a good point, yeah.
They have the botanist area, the whole botany place they got. Make some magic. Fuck, look, Hagrid's got the Hagrid had
All right,
those
it's fine.
giant.
wait,
You turn into a chair into a hot dog. It's gonna turn back to a chair later.
Well, I'm not
So
saying
it's gonna be
turn the
inside
chair
your
into a
stomach,
hot
and you have
dog.
fucking wood
Oh my
wood
God.
pieces.
I'm
that's
saying
just-
they
that's
could
just like
use
some
some of
monkey's
these
paw
giant
stuff.
plants.
How
that they
often
got
do we see
growing
magic
on.
permanent? That shit reverts
That
back.
is a good point.
I think part of herbology is like cultivating plants and stuff rather than
And,
making plants wholesale, you know?
and actually, John, I believe there's even a rule in Transfiguration not to eat objects that are transfigurated.
You're just trying to get out of.
All right, no, but hear me
You're just trying
out.
to get out of your job, squib. All right,
No,
get
no.
back to cleaning the floors.
Look, they don't have to create food with magic, but think about the process that we have of making food, of fucking farming, and all the work.
All
and
that
labor.
stuff
What
they
if we
do
could-
with
what if we
magic.
could have-
It is.
If you could do that with magic, it would be so easy to
They
make
do
food.
do
that
There
with
should be
magic.
abundance
That
of
they
food.
do.
What
Like
if we
the
could have,
tractor
like,
would
They
make
No.
show they show in Ron's house. They show them casting magic and like shit's doing like someone's
like, little
like one of the
crochet
things is, like
needles are making,
knitting.
like, a
Yeah, they're
sweater for 'em
knitting.
and
Washing the
You
dishes.
just-
One of
if
them's
it's
washing
crazy,
dishes.
if you just watched the first act of any of these movies, you'd see it.
I just don't
Yeah.
get why there's poor people in
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
that's why you don't get it.
To veer off, and I guess kind of like sideline on this, my second question I had, I asked it before, but I still don't get it. So in the first movie, they're like, everyone knows who the Weasleys are, but you guys said
Yeah.
they weren't famous. And
They're
then I
not
thought a
famous.
little
They're
bit
just
deeper-
very prolific with children.
But
They,
yeah,
they have a lot of
but
children.
like,
Yeah,
So
especially
in
in the
the
last
first-
10 years. Because I mean, well, I'll just cut you off. There's Ron, and then he has two older
he
brothers
has
that are twins.
Fred,
They're
Fred
they are
Durst,
well
or whatever his
known.
name is.
And then there's an
They're
older
well
brother there.
known. They're well known, but
All
they're
right,
not
because I was wondering,
celebrities.
because like in the first year, or like the first movie for the first year. What's that? Draco. He's like, oh, you gotta be Weasley. It's like, dude, how the fuck do you know who a Weasley is? Haven't you been in the middle
His
of
father
Bumblefuck?
works with the Weasley father, Arthur Weasley.
All right, well, his dad
at
is
the
also
ministry.
fucking like some elf wizard who tried to fucking murder Harry in cold blood, which I don't remember him trying to do that.
Oh, he totally did. Yeah, I mean, at the time of Harry Potter, the Weasleys have been at Hogwarts for the past like 10 years, like consistently.
Yeah.
There's been one,
And they're very identifiable in that they all have red hair and they
Yeah,
all
and they
have
all-
like,
yeah, look
poor
fucking-
shit.
seemingly the only like Irish people are red haired folk.
But there never was a famous ass Weasley. Like the oldest Weasley, the Dragon Tamer is probably the closest thing they got to. Like,
Yeah,
a successful
Charlie, Bill,
Weasley.
Percy,
Yeah.
Fred, George, Ron, Ginny. There's a lot of them.
And as an evil person, Malfoy just has like that. Kind of has like fuck, what are they called in Death Note? He has like the Shinobigami eyes or whatever. You know, you can like see someone's life.
Shinigami?
Yeah, but since he's like an evil guy, he can see like poor people and he can see their stats. You know,
Ah.
All
Look at
rich
him.
people
You
have
can
that
see how
also,
much money
dude.
they make. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that's why?
See,
he
but I
hates
believe
Harry?
that's a thing you could do.
Because
in Harry
Harry,
Potter.
because
See,
Harry
now that is
confuses
actually
the scanners. Because Harry looks like a poor person, but he's not. He confuses
It
the
fucks.
scanners.
It fucks his scanner up, dude. That's crazy. But like
Scanners
another
say
thing
about
with
the power
Draco
level.
is I forget it.
Daddy, his score was so low. How did he have a Nimbus 2000?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I. Oh fuck. Shit. I
Alright.
completely forgot what I was gonna say.
This would be a cool magic item.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like that movie would have been a lot better if.
I mean, there
One-
certainly are plot holes. You know, I mean,
Oh,
she's
there's a lot of
not,
plot
you know,
holes
it's
that
not
I-
like she
yeah,
had
yeah.
the whole thing planned out
Sorry.
and stuff.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
wanted-
yeah.
Sorry, you just don't understand it.
There's an
But I
explanation
feel
for
like
everything.
Malfoy or Draco. I feel like a few more punches to the face would have definitely made him get his shit together. And then if they proceeded to spread that around school, like, hey, Draco fucks with you like he does with everybody, just
punch him
pop
in
him
the
in,
face.
pop him right in the fucking mouth, dude. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna tell his friends not to tell anyone, and he's gonna run away like he fucking did. Dude,
One of the biggest missteps.
Embarrassing to Slytherin. As a Slytherin man myself, embarrassing. I wouldn't be caught dead getting punched in the face,
Fuck no, dude.
especially by a mudblood.
One of the most embarrassing missteps of the series, I think, is that Malfoy never has a proper redemption arc.
No, he's a fucking loser the whole time.
Oh, serious?
And-
He doesn't get good. I just assumed he would be good at.
No,
You
dude.
kind
Hell
he's
no.
kind of characterized near the end as like tortured, but he never
Well,
has like a good.
He gets
I'm not.
the slightest moment right where Voldemort asks him if he can recognize, like, hey, is that Harry Potter? You know, his face is all fucked up. And he could have said yes, because clearly it was Harry, but he's like, no,
Oh
I
yeah,
can't tell.
I guess that's the closest.
I mean,
thing,
but that's
yeah.
like the very closest. He's just like not a complete fucking piece of shit.
It felt like his character was like due to like be a big part of like
It does feel that way.
the ending.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's more like
disappointed
instead of
by
being
that.
redeemed, he was just mellowed out. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. He was set to neutral instead of being redeemed.
Right.
For sure.
All right. And then we also watched Wizard People Dear Reader, which
You guys
as I
watched
said
that
earlier,
after I
it's on
left,
the
right?
yeah, dude, it was. You
So
should
what
watch
is that?
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's a guy. It's like a guy talking in like overly verbose, dramatic, and like Cormac McCarthy-and like dialogue about Harry Potter as the scenes are playing. Like you're supposed to watch it to the scenes.
Like an alternate narration for the entire
yeah.
movie.
So it's a watch along.
It's kind of like a riff
like a
track
narration?
narration for the movie, but it's also, I mean, some of the lines are pretty good. I mean, it's equal parts funny and, I mean, genuinely entertaining. I think the writing,
It's very good. Yeah, the writing is insane.
it's just to the first movie over again. I thought I had my mic muted, but I was dying the whole time.
I had to beat my mic because I was laughing so much. I know it must have been annoying. Like I could not stop laughing. It was so
Raptor's
good.
good.
I haven't laughed like that in a long time.
Yeah, even like I've seen it before, and I was even laughing still this second time watching it.
Oh man. I don't want to spoil anything, but like I love how it was mostly faithful to what was happening on screen, just kind of like making fun of it, and then towards the end, it just goes totally off the rails in the funniest way. I laughed so much, like at the ending 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, some of the best parts are when it's describing things that clearly aren't happening on screen, and it's just like
Harry just started retching all over his hooves. So good. Yeah, watch that if you are looking for a reason to re-experience the first movie. I highly recommend that.
What was the name of that again? One more time.
It is called Wizard People, Dear Reader. We did find that on Vimeo there's a 480p thing combining the two, but perhaps use your own means in the freely available soundtrack on SoundCloud by Nick Brealey, right, Flask?
Brad Neely.
Brad Neely, sorry. By Brad Neely. I don't know if anybody who knows this. I did just kind of Google around. I saw that there was a second one that was made by somebody who wasn't him. That I didn't really listen to much of it, but it sounded like a similar voice. Do we know anything about that?
Maybe I did at some point. I don't remember right now. No.
I mean, I didn't know about this one, so no, definitely not. But it worries me. I don't know. I feel like one is like,
yeah,
I don't know.
One
it was great. It was funny, and like if you tried to recreate that, I'm not saying like someone couldn't, but
you'd have to like remake a lot of the same jokes and shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'd worried you'd be expecting a lot of the things too much.
I wonder how long that took. I mean, I guess I saw that it took him like 2 or 3 weeks to make, but like that's like impressive for that script. Like all like just how many metaphors and stuff are in every fucking other line and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The mental notes are stacking. And that's my roundtable. And friends, I think that I owe our hosts a little breaky break around this point.
Yeah,
so we'll see you back here. See you back here soon with Flask. Flask, I think you said you don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Be like a quick 30, 60-second thing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 30-minute thing.
But you may have been just pulling that from the ether, because that's more true than you might think.
Ooh, so we'll see. And then John, I think you've got a little bit more than 30, 60 seconds.
You don't know me, dude.
He's right.
You do not know me, bro.
I do, though. I've known you a long time.
Bro.
All right. We'll be back here soon.
You know, it's funny. I didn't really know about PlayStation Now. Did you know about this PlayStation Now? This has been around. I don't know for how long, but like you could just stream PlayStation
Now's
games to your
been around
computer.
for a while, bro. Yeah.
And does it get like new games?
I'm not 100% on that. Excuse me. But yeah, Kurt used it, I think, to play Ghost of Tsushima.
No, see, I thought, well, maybe, I don't know, but I thought he was just.
Are you talking about the
playing
remote play or about, because that's
I'm
what Kurt
talking
was
about-
using. Or are you talking about
Yeah,
like the thing where the PlayStation Now is like, yeah, that thing it streams games. I think
It's streaming games. You can stream to your
yeah.
PC. You can stream as long as you have a PlayStation controller, compatible controller.
I don't think that ever really works that well though.
Oh yeah,
I think it always has issues.
because that's a pretty cool offering to be able to play. Like, I don't need to buy a fucking. Maybe this is not how this works, but I don't need to buy a PlayStation 5. I could just fucking stream certain games to my fucking computer. Like that's.
Yeah, the thing is.
Oh, but you know what? It's not. It's not new games. It's not new games.
I was like, it's
like
probably not new games. Or like, what
No,
games are they?
It's like a library of games, like the Xbox Game Pass. Well, Xbox
I wanna
Game Pass
get
does
the,
have new games, but
Well, yeah, they're well with the PlayStation's new thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. They're not gonna get new games. I want to get the upgraded version of the Xbox One because I want to play. You can apparently play Banjo-Kazooie on the computer if you get like the ultimate version.
Yeah, but why are only certain games available at that subscription level? Like what are you paying for? I don't really get that.
I have no idea. That's an Andy question.
This is kind of like that with the PlayStation.
I'm sorry, I was zoned in on a different conversation entirely. I was reading about what's going on.
We were just talking
the Xbox Game Pass thing, real quick. The Ultimate, where you play Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
What is like the main thing? Like, why is it available on like the Ultimate, not the regular thing?
Yeah, why is a certain game available on the Ultimate and not?
Oh well, it's called the X Cloud. Is their streaming service. The Xbox Ultimate subscription just gives you access to the X Cloud on the PC.
Well, why are certain games only in the X Cloud and not?
Because feasibly they're like basically streaming from 360s or like 360 emulated servers or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works.
I understand that, and that's exactly how this PlayStation thing's going to work too. Actually,
exactly. Yeah, you're basically streaming emulated consoles. Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna zoom right into Flask.
Zoom.
You ain't been playing no Elden Ring this last week.
No.
You've been watching a lot of Harry Potter.
You beat it? I'm not even sure where you were at in that.
Dude, he beat it a while ago. He beat it before.
Yeah.
He beat it before.
I've had to say on like multiple podcast episodes.
I know you beat it.
I know you know.
No, you know I knew that too. I just momentarily.
Right. You're just acting that way as a funny joke.
Yeah, you're kind of like ruining the whole premise of the podcast. But what have you been doing instead of playing a good game?
That's a really good question. I want to answer that truthfully. I was doing, like non-entertainment stuff more over the past week, so I also just wasn't really in the mood to play video games. So I didn't, and therefore I don't really have much to talk about. I could just like bullshit about some shows, TV shows.
Oh wow, this is a really rare roundtable.
It's kind of funny, Flask. Maybe it's just in the air, and maybe it's just the Elden Ring depression now that we're a month out of release. But I've actually been in a very similar space. Like when I have made progress in game, it's been Subnautica, like I mentioned, but it hasn't really been much. And I've much more often like watched the game and not done a whole lot, while mostly watching whatever movie we're doing or watching something on the screen. Been taking it kind of easy,
Yeah, I don't know. Just as I said, I've been doing other stuff. Just haven't really felt gamey. So I guess. I did watch Smiling Friends. Friends.
What'd you think?
So I got it, and I enjoyed.
Oh boy.
I enjoyed it in theory, but I never laughed or anything like that. Like it didn't really hit me ever.
I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. If I had not liked it, I wouldn't have watched the whole thing. So there's that. But like, it's easy to watch. It's amusing.
Okay for you. I was gonna say it's amusing for you.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It just never like got me laughing or chuckling or even being like, "Oh, that was a funny."
Hey, listen, that ain't for everybody. Then
it ain't for everybody.
That's
yeah.
I definitely see that. Somehow,
like, it's not like I even disagree with that. Like, I feel like I was not laughing out loud as much, but I very much enjoyed it. Like, I was very amused.
I feel like then all three of us have different reactions because I fucking laughed a lot watching that. I have found it, but maybe it's just based off like our humor, like what we find funny.
Yeah.
Where we all find like kind of like the general thing funny, but there's certain things like Andy will find funny, or Flask will find funny, or I'll find funny. Yeah. So I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can all agree in the comfort of friends that Flask is incorrect in this case, but
He is wrong, and Smiling
right,
Friends
right.
is
That's
great,
fair.
but that's
That's the
neither
way it
here nor
goes
there.
sometimes.
okay, Flask.
I also watched the IT Crowd not too long ago. I watched the whole show, the whole series.
Yeah,
Funny,
I watched that
I've
with
tried
my
to-
girlfriend.
I've tried a couple times to get into that, and I've never made it past the first few episodes. And
I feel
in
like
fact, the most recent time was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, even.
That's fair. I can understand that completely.
The first time I seen that show, I didn't find it funny at all.
Mm-hmm.
And actually now I think it's very funny. I think it's
I guess I wasn't really down with the aesthetic and the vibe. Like it was
it's very
maybe, like,
goofy.
What? Sorry, what'd you say?
It's very goofy. It's very goofy style of humor, like very
Yeah,
almost
It is
kind of
very goofy, yeah.
cornball-y, but like it's fucking funny though. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Flask. But
No, again.
I've also been watching that show.
it I would say it like peaks at a certain point and then never really got funnier to me than like one scene in I don't know, series 2, I think. But I watched the whole thing, so I guess I was like fine with having it on, you know. It wasn't like I disliked the humor. I just it's goofy humor. It's kind of like, I don't know, obvious, but not as obvious as like a Big Bang Theory. It's better than Big Bang Theory, which I've never watched because I know what it is.
Right.
And it's a laugh track show, so you gotta just accept that.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah.
Richard Iowata, the whole cast is really great. Matt Berry, his role
Mhm.
is always he's funny when he shows up.
Yeah, I like the people.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Matt Berry, I just remembered that actually reminds me. I also watched Garth Marenghi's Darkplace.
Oh,
not too
I've
long
been
ago
meaning
as well.
to try this out.
It's only 6 episodes, right? It's only 6.
It's 6 episodes. That's it.
It is 6 episodes of television. Yeah,
You guys have never seen this?
No,
I had never seen it before.
I know the
watched it
premise is like they're filming. It's like a show about it making a show.
recently. Yeah, this is years later after the show was made, and they're doing like a little revisiting documentary style thing, re-airing the episodes of the show they made.
They
Back in the
aired on
day.
Adult Swim quite some time ago.
Okay,
Or,
that makes sense.
Alex really dug that.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
And you,
Yeah, it was good. It
It's
was
funny.
funny.
It's definitely weird. I mean, yeah, it's strange, but yeah, it's I don't know, it's funny. You like I forget what's the actor? He's also in What We Do in the Shadows.
Matt Berry. Yeah,
Matt Berry. Yeah, he's in it. It's funny.
He's great. Yeah.
he's great. I kind of just want to watch everything he's in because I find him hysterical.
I forget. Did you watch any of What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah,
The
I've seen
show?
all of it,
Okay.
and he's fucking superb in that show.
He
In the
is.
Mighty Boosh, he's funny in that.
No, I've never seen.
yeah.
I've never seen that. Mighty Boosh.
I
I
saw some
love the
episodes of
Mighty
that
Boosh.
back in the day on Adult Swim. But yeah, Darkplace is what?
Oh no, I was saying funny. Somebody bought me the Mighty Boosh DVD. This is crazy, right? Real quick, somebody bought me the Mighty Boosh DVDs as a gift one year. It's just 4 or 5 years ago, and
Oh.
they're like UK, like I don't know, gated or whatever. Like I put it in my computer and it's like, sorry, you need to be like a UK
Oh.
computer to like use this.
That's
What?
funny.
You just change your
No,
location?
you can, but you can only do that so many times. So I actually did change it once just to watch the series, and I changed it back.
You know what? I actually did. Someone sent me like a clip of like old Greg on YouTube, and they're like, "This is funny," and I thought it was not funny. at
Old
all.
Greg is
Oh man,
the
old
most
Greg
popular
was
of the-
hilarious.
that. But
I would
there's
say
a lot.
it's
Maybe I'll
from
bring
a
the
place and
DVDs
time,
yeah, definitely.
know?
Maybe I'll bring the DVDs on vacation and we'll watch them.
All right, yeah. Well, we gotta change.
Like
our
I definitely
location.
remember thinking that was really funny back in the 2000s. Old Greg.
Oh man, back in when I was a young lad, when that released, that was constantly screamed at me.
Well, of course.
It's old Greg. Yeah, I'm like, dude, enough.
I
I've
like
never seen
Noel,
Mighty Boosh, and I will never watch it because of that.
Yeah, I just
Noel
didn't think it
Fielding.
was funny. I don't even remember what it was. I remember it was like in a fucking cave and some dude like yelling and it was weird.
He's like
I
some
didn't think it
dirty
was-
goblin man. I
Yeah,
have no
that's
idea.
just. I mean, that's just one episode though. He's not like a recurring character. It's just like a
Okay.
it's a funny episode.
Mostly
like
just
Noel
Noel
Fielding
Fielding
as well.
being goofy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny guy.
he was on a series of Taskmaster. I mean, he's been in a bunch of stuff. But
Oh, he was.
yeah,
He's like I
What
like
series
him
was he
like
on?
3. I forget.
I don't remember which one. I feel like I've seen. I don't remember which one he was on. Or I don't remember him being on it.
He was 3 maybe. I really don't remember.
I gotta check that out. I like him. Like, I don't even know what I like about him. He's like I don't know. He just seems like a nice dude, and he's
Charming
like
British person.
he's like a charming British person. But I also at the same time think he's like not funny at all. But I like him,
He's not conventionally
Especially-
funny to me.
especially
he's just
as a
kind
host
of a weirdo.
on British Bake Off. He's like not fucking funny at all. But I like him.
Yeah, he's just kind of an out there personality.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
he has
got
creative
personality.
approaches to the tasks in Taskmaster for sure.
Flask, speaking of British personalities and tasks, I have a task for you.
Okay.
Harry, Hermione, Ron, Neville, and Draco.
Fuck, marry,
Oh.
kill.
I want you to assign a podcaster to each.
Oh. Harry, Hermione, Ron, Neville, and Draco.
Come on, bro. It was easy.
Vito's Neville, right?
I mean, I think I would say that you are Hermione, Andy.
Okay.
Got him.
That's not a slight. Hermione's probably
That's not a god. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'll take
That's a
it.
god. That's a got him.
None of these are bad answers except Neville.
yeah.
Neville's not, are you kidding me? Neville ends up being fucking hot, doesn't he?
All
And
right, we know
popular.
who Neville is. All right. We know
All
who
right,
Neville is.
we're
It's a
we're
debate.
still in young boy territory where he's a freak, like a 13-year-old
All right,
freak.
Flask.
Now.
You've got 4 more to go.
God, it's kind of hard because like the Gryffindor bunch of boys kind of like blend together in terms of
Yeah.
what they kind of represent. You know, like as characters in their story, they are different, but as assigning personality types, it's like
Yeah.
hard.
All right.
Also, I'm Harry
hang
Potter.
Hang on. We're overthinking it. I want to narrow the space. Vito. God. Let's think about Vito first, and we can go from there. Right. So Vito's got to be. You know what? Vito's
Definitely.
a tough one to wrangle with. Let's move on to John. Right. So John.
That's a tough one too. Let's move on.
I think John's not a main character. Right. That's just not his vibe. John is definitely not Harry.
John's a
John-
Ron.
John's a Ron or a Draco. But I think John's a Ron. I really think John's a Ron.
Ronnie the Bear, huh?
John
I
being
think
Ron is
John's
fair.
Ronnie the Bear.
John's Ron.
I mean,
like
this is your
it.
decision, Flask. I'm just trying to help us navigate it here.
I think John as Ron is fine. I also think that the obvious thing might seem to be that Greg would be Draco. I think Vito's Draco. I think Vito's Draco.
I'd be Neville.
Oh man. Okay.
I could see myself being like, "Stop doing that," and then
No, you're
getting
right, 'cause
blasted with a freeze ray
I do
or
find
whatever.
the main cast insufferable.
Well, there
I
we
think
go. Okay.
I think Vito like
But
one
at
of
the
his
same time,
primary
I might be
characteristics.
Harry.
No. I think one of your
Absolutely
primary
not.
characteristics could be said to be ambition. And
Don't you
I don't
guys
think that's a
think
bad thing, but I think that kind of identifies you as like a Draco.
Well, let me position this a different way. Do you guys think that Draco would be more humanized to Harry if he too had seen the Act 1 of all the movies?
I think so for sure. If he was privy to everything that he wasn't a part of, I think he would be more
Right? Right?
reasonable.
So there you go. All right. So Vito is Draco, and that leaves us with you and Greg,
God, I don't know.
Neville and Harry. So when do you get? I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like
I am definitely not a Harry Potter person.
I think Flask is a Harry, and that makes Greg a Neville.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't mean to
fine.
make
I
myself
am
Harry.
definitely not Harry.
That's not like a You know, that's not like an
You have
award or
Protag
something.
syndrome. It's fine, dude.
I think Flask is a Harry though, because he's like both nice and smart, and also he has all these natural talents that like everybody hates him for.
Right, that
He was
everyone
also
despises
locked
me
under
for.
that. He
That's
was
a good
also
point.
locked under the
Ostracizes me
stairs when he
for.
was younger.
That's true.
Yeah. And Neville does eventually turn up, like we know Greg does.
No, that's not true.
Well, you know, I had to say something.
I appreciate it.
I think Greg, you know, he's that kind of guy who on the surface might seem like, you know, like he's only out for himself or not out for himself, but like is I don't know, doesn't care. But then when it comes time to act, he proves he does care.
I am always the first person who is willing to sacrifice himself to save his friends. That is all I can
That's
say.
true. So yeah,
That's a
fits.
great point. That actually is a great point. Now we figured it out. And Flask, did you have anything else to discuss?
No.
Okay.
As much as I discussed there was just like me bullshitting about stuff I've watched. It wasn't even planned.
John,
Hello.
I think you're going to take us out with a delightful little roundtable that's going to segue nicely into the news.
Sure. I haven't been doing too much. I talked about playing Red Dead last week, right?
Yeah.
You did? You
did, yeah.
Continue with that.
You still going through that?
I've been continuing that. Yeah, it's a pretty big game. I'm still having fun. Still looks great. Still best game ever made. Not too much more to say about that one. Something I do got a little bit more to say about. Actually, I really don't have much to say about this, but I got a little bit more. I just, one day I was on Steam and I was scrolling around. I seen the up and coming, and or I don't know, maybe new and trending actually. I seen a mod. I don't think I've ever seen a mod there before, and this is for Slay the Spire, and it's called Slay the Spire Downfall. And it's just like a big fan-made, community-made expansion for Slay the Spire.
Yeah, this looks so cool.
That's pretty sick.
It is pretty cool. So it adds a fifth hero character, which has its own kind of unique, abilities or whatever, mechanics. And then what I did, I only played one kind of go around, but I played the new mode they have. It's called Downfall. And you get to play as one of like the bosses in the game. I played as like the slime boss.
Okay.
I played as slime boss, and you have like your own kind of mechanics for slime boss. Like it's gonna be hard to describe, but you can summon these goops, and they do different things, and you have cards that can absorb the goops, give you buffs, and like debuff the enemies. Like it was its own like completely, unique mechanics just for this character. Yeah, I mean, if you like Slay the Spire, this is probably as close as you're gonna get to like a real DLC.
Yeah, I love Slay the Spire. I have a lot of hours in it. You could play as any of the bosses that are available in the campaign. Like,
looks like they.
Or a couple of them at
I didn't
least.
see all of them. Look, they have 3 or 4 here, and they say and many more.
does it feel balanced? What you're playing as the?
Yeah. As far as the slime boss go, yeah, and then like it's. You start at like the the top of the page, like the top of the map, and you work your way down. And when you get to the bottom, you gotta fight like a hero character. So I only got past the first boss, but I fought like the what's the poison? Whatever, the person that like poisons and daggers. I had to fight them. Yeah, and I had to like fight with them, and they had like their cards and energy and stuff. And
But are you fighting the regular enemies as well, or just?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, normally you are, but like
characters.
some of them have like unique interactions. Like you'll fight, like if you ran into a slime, like you wouldn't fight me as a slime boss.
Maybe I missed you said this. Is this officially endorsed, like part of the game?
I think it's close to like official as it can be without saying like, hey, like it's still a mod on the workshop. I guess the It's
Okay, that was the major question. If it was like
Yeah, it's
packaged as
fan-made.
like an official add-on or something.
right.
It's not. It's
it
not
is-
like Inscription, Kaylee's mod, or whatever the hell it's called.
No.
Well,
I mean, it does
Casey's
seem pretty
mod is
official,
made by
but
the
yeah, no.
developers, but
No,
Casey's
this
mod
is
is literally just a DLC.
a free complete expansion for Slay the Spire made by the modding community.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I mean, I'm sure maybe there is like I didn't look up anything. Maybe there is more of like a story behind this. With the people working on it, I actually don't know. But it I made the new and trending or whatever, and it seems pretty legit.
Cool.
That's
cool.
sick. Good find. Good find.
Yeah,
Check it
that's
out.
sick.
And then lastly, very briefly, I don't even really want to talk about it. I didn't play it enough to really get an opinion. But I did download Weird West, and I don't know, played it for roughly like an hour. And what I did play, I liked it. I mean, it was cool. But like I said, it's far too early to really say much.
How is it on the Game Pass? There's been a long storied history of day one launches on Game Pass being trash games.
This is true.
Bugging out.
I had, surprisingly, I ran into no problems so far on the
Great.
Game Pass.
Great. Cool.
It's not nearly weird enough on the Game Pass. They really need to turn the weird knob up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Game
That's the
Pass
one
is
thing.
bumping right now.
Game Pass is doing pretty solid.
Bumping right now. I wish Elden Ring didn't exist.
What? You wish Elden Ring didn't exist?
Yeah, me
Well,
too,
John,
I just
if
wanna
you're
play it so
done with
bad.
your roundtable, I think that's actually a good segue into the first news story.
dude. Oh.
News.
Are you done, John? I don't want to cut you off.
I don't know. I was done.
PlayStation has announced their long speculated competitor form of PlayStation Plus competitor to Game
PlayStation.
Pass. They've modified a form of PlayStation Plus into a subscription with 3 tiers, including a library of hundreds of legacy games. I think I'm not a PlayStation guy. I don't think we actually have a true PlayStation guy on this pod, but the pricing for this is kind of egregious for what the offering is, in my opinion, especially with the knowledge that on my Game Pass, we're not going to have day one games on this.
Mhm.
And the adds up to 340 additional games. And like I'm just picking up this one thing here of the PlayStation Plus Premium. It adds up to 340 additional games, including PS3 games, catalog of beloved games from original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP. I mean, I know I'm like picking hairs, but like that's like really vague. And 340 games is not really a lot across like 4 consoles. You know what I mean? Like,
Well-
I wonder what isn't there.
Well, did you mention that it's 400 plus the 340 in the premium? Did you say that already? It's not just 340. It's
It is
PlayStation
400.
Plus.
Well, the
Yeah,
the 400 is the PS4 and PS5 games. I was poking specifically at the legacy games. Like, I don't even think they have all their legacy games on their stream service. Is what I'm getting at. Like the 400
They
is
don't.
PS4, PS5
Yeah,
games.
I mean, one way you could look at it, I find it ridiculous that on the consoles you have to pay like $10 a month for multiplayer access in the first place. It's like insane. But if you are somebody who owns PlayStation Plus, then you're only paying maximum
Yeah,
of $7
sure.
more, $8 more for 700 plus games.
And you
So
compare that to
I
like
think
what Netflix costs, and like you probably come out with like you're getting more value out of this than you would Netflix anyway. So
Yeah, I think that's actually a great deal. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous in the first place that you have to pay $10 a month.
It's also, I would
for
say
internet
it's
access.
it is, and I would say it's a positive in quotes move that like to have these games in a package like this, right?
Oh yeah.
Because it's always good to see companies sort of recognizing and releasing their back catalog in some form, instead of just not. But this is probably just them scooping up all their emulated titles that were already available on PS4. And
Right.
from what I understand, those emulation solutions aren't really up to snuff for what they should be. Like they aren't comparable to efforts made by the community in emulation. So there's this like trade-off of you have these games together here in an official capacity, but they're not as good an experience as unofficial emulation.
right.
And I guess
Gotcha.
it remains to be seen if that assumption is wrong and they have actually done something new. But from what it looks like, it's just they're bundling all of their stuff that they already had on PS4 as far as
Like,
legacy
this
titles
isn't-
go.
Like, this isn't something that PlayStation would organically probably do if they didn't have to answer to Xbox doing Game Pass.
Right.
And the fact that they couldn't. So Jim Ryan had an article come out on GameIndustry.biz about how, quote, games could suffer if they went straight into PlayStation Plus. I totally believe that, because we got to remember that Microsoft is like a very diverse entities where they can suffer a shitload of losses on Game Pass on some crazy 10-year plan, and they can just eat billions in losses for a long time because they know eventually it's going to pay off. Sony doesn't really have that kind of capital. Like, gaming is their biggest thing. So when they make an investment in a studio, I think much more than Microsoft, they're risk averse to the fact that if they put it out for free, they're just not going to get a big return on that specific title.
Yeah, I think it's like fair from that perspective. That Xbox is just eating, or Microsoft is just like eating losses, and they know it.
Yeah, and like Phil, I mean that's no secret, right? Like Phil Spencer has like gone out and said that like that's part of the plan. Build value in like customer base by eating a shitload of like material losses now. Convert money into players, basically.
Right.
Or into
It's just too bad
platform
for
holders or whatever you want to call it.
Too bad for us who just want, not free,
Right.
but like the same level of access to those first party titles that drop day one.
For sure. I mean, if you're a consumer and you have both consoles and you have to choose between one or the other, it's hard to deny that Game Pass is a better service for you.
Mm-hmm.
Some small
In general, of
effect
course.
this is having is if you're a PC user using PlayStation Now exclusively, PlayStation Now will transition into the new PlayStation Plus offering. So you won't be able to get PlayStation Now standalone in the future. But if you're a PlayStation Now user right now, that will roll into PlayStation Plus, and your price won't increase for now.
Right. So that is another big thing that I think Sony has totally failed on compared to Microsoft. And like Microsoft has the outreach of having Windows, so it's not necessarily fair. But a lot of people don't know that you can get a PlayStation Now subscription to like stream some of those games to your PC.
I literally was talking to Greg about that during the break, that I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
I would have played Bloodborne like years ago if I knew you could do that. Or maybe not. I don't know. Depending on, does anybody know how good PlayStation Now actually is at streaming?
Yeah, because maybe you don't have no idea.
I think it's not great, but I could be wrong. I would look into that.
I've never
Don't
done
take
it.
that as gospel. Speaking of subscription services to popular platforms,
Wowee.
Rockstar has made a bold move and announced GTA Plus for GTA Online, a new membership subscription for GTA Online that gets you a recurring monthly amount of money to your bank accounts, opportunities to claim properties in and around Los Santos, unlock gameplay updates you may have missed out on, special vehicle upgrades, member-only discounts. Buddies, what are you waiting on?
Dude, John, you were so excited about this. I knew
wanna
you got a
throw
leak about this. How you feeling, bud?
It's crazy. This is like, if we were making fun of it, this is like one of the things we would
Like,
suggest.
exactly,
Yeah.
right?
I think one of us made that a joke.
I was
about
gonna
this.
say, like if somebody, if
I want to say
one
like
of our
Nacho
dedicated,
did.
if one of our dedicated fans wants to mine the podcast, there's a good chance you'll find some bit tangentially saying something like this. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that anybody would pay for this, but I'm sure there's going to be people.
It just doesn't seem. I mean, I guess we've yet to see that. The offerings are maybe a little vague right now, but to buy a subscription to something that offers you discounts or in-game money is just like hysterical to me.
Just think about it from Rockstar's perspective, right? Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, this costs them nothing. Like, I bet everything that they're throwing into this, at least on the launch, is stuff that they have. They just have to like restructure it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like the most investment that Rockstar had to do for this was to build an infrastructure to make it to make a subscription service. Like the content is a non-issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you get the Gusset frog tee and broker prolapse basketball
dude.
top
The-
and shorts.
What?
Automatically, yeah, you heard me. Automatically added to your wardrobe.
The Greek tragedy lens of this is that we'll just have to see if Rockstar's continued bet of trading public relations for cash is going to pay off in the long term.
Probably.
And the answer, listeners, is yes, I will.
Yeah, this is just the darkest timeline, simple as.
Speaking
Simple
of
as.
darkest timeline, simple as something that I don't think that we're too surprised by, Greg, but The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild 2.
I
was
totally
delayed
saw
to
this
spring
coming, dude.
23. Do we think that this was always going to happen? Do we think that this is at all and somehow a reaction to the Elden Ring?
I definitely knew this was gonna happen, but also I've been thinking for the last few days, and I feel like maybe this has something slightly to do with Elden Ring, where they maybe they had like something close to, like, not close to Elden Ring, but they had something like kind of general, and Elden Ring fucking blew it out the water, and they're like, dude, our version sucks. We gotta do it. We gotta redo it. Like, maybe they had like that underground area, and
Something like
they
that.
had it
maybe.
like they had like their version of it. They're like, damn, ours is so much shittier. Fuck. I'm running with that dude because they showed like a. I mean, it's whatever. It's like a 3-second video, but they
Yeah, I'm
show
watching it now.
Link, and he pulls out the Master Sword, and the Master Sword's all fucking like smashed and broken, and he looks different. He has like a crazy arm. I'm pretty excited, man. I mean, I'm still excited for it, but I'm alright with delaying it. I am a big while I don't like it, I am totally cool at the end of the day with delaying games. Delay a game as much as you need to
Yeah.
make it good.
I
Totally
completely
don't
agree.
care. I've been saying this shit. I've said it before Cyberpunk. I said it a lot during Cyberpunk. Like, just if your game's got an issue, delay it. Yeah, people are gonna complain, dude, but hey, they're gonna be a lot angrier if you give them a shitty game.
You know, Sugary Miyamana once said, games.
Yeah.
I was like, is that the meme I keep seeing? And I don't remember. I don't remember the right quote.
Perhaps, Greg, a more crushing blow to some of our listeners is that
Andy, I
Sons of
didn't
the
even fucking
Forest
see this.
has been delayed from May to October.
Dude, I literally was reading it like this a few minutes ago, looking through the news, and I saw that. Dude, that is so sad. That hurts. 'Cause that's a great they showed screenshots though, or like a little video
I
segment.
saw
on
that. It looks kind of
link.
cool.
The new animations look cool. I definitely I'm excited for that game when that comes out. That'll be cool.
Yeah, and as for me personally, like, that's fine. Delay it. I want this to be good.
Yeah.
You know, Shigeru
Definitely
Miyamoto
not.
once said,
Shaggy Miyamoto.
Shaggy
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Miyamana games.
Prime Video is looking to reboot Takeshi's Castle, which we talked about extensively on this podcast in a previous episode.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, we talked
Flash did a
about it.
whole deep
Flash
dive
is-
into it.
Did I?
Yeah,
Wasn't it you?
definitely.
Probably.
I mean, I
Yeah.
talked about Gaki no Sakai on here.
A deep dive might have been
Once.
overstating it, but like
But
we
that-
did talk about it for a while.
Flash
Yeah,
definitely
we
did.
have
a
talked
segment
about
on
the. I don't think we
Takeshi Castle.
maybe we haven't. I don't remember on the podcast, but we have talked about it.
Yeah,
outside.
in
I've
relation
definitely talked
to,
about Takeshi's
Fall Guys
Castle
and
and
stuff.
MXC.
Definitely on the podcast.
Yeah.
This is
Definitely on the
cool,
podcast
though.
as well.
I used to watch
I'm cool with
MXC
this.
on Spike back in
Yeah,
the
I
day.
like MXC. I didn't watch it on Spike. I think literally we watched it once, somewhere. I don't even remember. And then I ended up watching it later. It's very funny.
I guess I don't have a reason to hate this because, I mean, it's not like an adaptation of this like should be bad, right? I mean,
No, I mean, and it's not that.
It's a
So it's
pretty-
not like another dub. It's a reboot of the original Takeshi's Castle. So it's just a game show essentially. It's like going to treat itself normally. So anyone
You gotta
expecting
try to
like
get on it.
wacky, hijinks and stuff like that, not necessarily. It's just fun,
It's like Wipeout,
physical,
dude.
physical wipeout type stuff.
I loved
yeah.
watching Wipeout. You guys ever watch Wipeout? I know it's kind of off topic. Or a little
I've seen a
off
few.
topic.
I've seen it
Seen
probably
it.
on
I've
TV at
seen
some point. Yeah.
What it is.
Wipeout is fucking insane. People,
I like
I'm surprised
people-
people haven't died doing that.
Yeah, I like watching people eat shit. When
Yeah.
when it is on,
Yeah.
I do enjoy. I do take pleasure in other people's pain.
I like watching humans die.
Oh God.
Getting hit in the face with a giant rotating noodle.
That or just getting clotheslined by a pipe, like a little balloon pipe.
Wow.
Hey friends, I'm sorry to report. Breaking news. Jeff Keighley just called me. E3 22 has been canceled.
Oh,
God damn it!
hey, it ain't so. What are we gonna report? What are we gonna do?
The
Yeah, so-
the ESA has said that they will return in 2023 with a reinvigorated showcase.
What is that?
Oh,
And
guys, hold
read
on.
the-
I just got a message. This is from my good friend Jeff Keighley. He just sent
Oh,
me a
boy.
message. He said he's excited to share Summer Game Fest.
Oh,
We'll be returning this
what?
June.
What?
Jeff,
He wanted me to let everybody know. He just tweeted out right now about it.
Jeff.
that is a top 10 anime moment for sure. I'm sure you could agree, Greg.
He did this last year, right? Where he saved America
games.
by doing
Yeah.
that.
He saved games. Well, I read this
Yeah.
article explaining the cancellation of E3, but I don't see in there like why they did this.
So, yeah. There's basically not been a concrete reason. It seems as if they've had a trouble like getting support and coordinating with all their third party people and everything, and they've made a decision to pivot all their resources into making 2023 as good as possible instead of just focusing on 2022 happening this year.
I'm cool with that
So-
because E3 kind of sucked at the end.
I mean,
According to
that
sources
just,
speaking to IGN at the time, discussions around E3 had been fraught throughout the year, with third parties normally involved finding the ESA's ongoing silence regarding their plans frustrating.
it just sounds like they just didn't have there wasn't enough interest. I mean, to say that they're gonna divert their resources into making 2023 the best show, that sounds kind of like a bullshit answer. That you
I
got
think it
canceled,
is, but
bro.
like,
you
yeah.
you didn't have enough interest, so you couldn't do it. Good luck
Yeah,
in 2023, I guess.
yeah, basically. Like, they did not come up with a strong enough reason to convince people not to do their own thing. Probably is the answer, but who knows?
Right.
I mean, we'll find out.
It's
I don't
funny how
care
much exactly. It's funny how much we do not care at all about the actual like event itself, but I think we can all agree that it's a fun time of year whenever an event like this rolls around, because then
Sure.
we get to kind of have a week or so where we're just tuning into events with each other, in a group, and just riffing on it and having fun watching it together.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
personal experience has been I'm underwhelmed every single year.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I do enjoy the getting together because something's happening. But hey,
So that's like the
Our
only
boy-
reason I
our
wouldn't
boy
want
Jeff.
these centralized events to go away, because
Right.
it's fun to watch with friends.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
celebration of games in a way.
No,
you know?
I very much enjoy that. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I didn't know that this was happening. Did we know this was happening, John? I assume you're the one who added this, but Fallout 76 is now basically being worked on by Double 11. It seems like Double 11 has been brought in as like a contract developer support agency or something to continue adding content to 76.
Who is
I had
Double
not
11?
heard of this.
What do they do?
They did like Goat Simulator or something. I don't know.
They-
We don't know I don't think we know the full extent of it yet. Whether they're like completely taking over and Bethesda whatever is going to work on something else. There've been rumors of like a New Vegas 2 or or even just like remakes of Fallout 3 and stuff. So no, there's no word on whether they're going to be doing something else or like they're just bringing in like help or something or whatever. But it definitely, I mean, something's happening. I don't play Fallout 76 and don't keep up with it too much. But as far
I was
as I've
gonna
heard,
say,
this year
are
is
you
pretty,
interested in playing it?
Not. I mean,
I haven't. I'm just saying, if you're interested, I do have it downloaded. I was planning on going back because I wanted to see some alien event they have going on.
Yeah, they do have an alien event going on here. I heard this year's stuff. I don't know. It's just kind of lackluster. Like they've been talking about it in mod support for like years now, and they still haven't. And, like their big DLC is something about the pit, which is like a DLC in Fallout 3, but that's kind of got pushed back. It's supposed to come back in like fall or winter of this year now. So
yeah,
not a whole lot's going on with the game. So yeah, maybe they're bringing them for help. Who knows?
Yeah, it looks like Double 11 is one of those primarily support studios who makes ports of existing games.
Right.
So they're just one of those people.
A new feature has forced Twitch to reckon with what gamers really want.
What's that?
So in September, October 21, Twitch began testing this new feature called Boost This Stream, where streamers could pay money to get increased visibility by things like putting them into highly visible parts of Twitch, like a tab called Live Channels we think you'll like. So basically a way to pay your way to the top of Twitch.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, cool.
And the experiment was halted yesterday after seems like a bunch of people paid to have porn put on the front page.
Cool.
But that's again, you can't have porn on Twitch, right? That's against the rules.
Yeah, I mean they pretty much have it, but
right. But officially, it's against the rules.
Yeah, it's officially against the rules.
Yeah. The Twitch rep confirmed that the boost train experiment has now been paused because of safety-related issues that came up during testing.
So, do we think this was like like an intentional sort of attack of sorts, using their own system against them to get rid of it? This feature?
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what
yeah.
else it could be, right? Like, it's just like, well, yeah. Either that.
I mean, it's either just plain trolling or it's an intentional effort.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we can't really interpret the intent behind it, but it certainly looks like that. But it could have also just been, this is the consequence of having a stupid idea like this,
Right.
And also, having a stupid idea combined with their weird and lax content policy. They've always had a problem with, like, porn on Twitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey gamers, did you know
Yes.
that Winter is back in August with the premiere of the Game of Thrones prequel series, House of Dragons?
But August is a summer.
Oh, that
month.
one's finally coming out.
Yes.
Is this the first sequel that's fucking from like the
This
four
is a
they
prequel.
announced?
This is a prequel series, a 10-episode series streamed only on HBO Max. It's set 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, when the Targaryens were still in power.
I'm cool with this. I like dragons.
The cast includes Matt Smith as Prince Daemon Targaryen, Olivia Cook as Lady Alyssa Hightower, Paddy Considine as King Viserys I Targaryen, and Emma Darcy as Princess Rhaena Targaryen. Writer and producer Ryan J. Condal of Rampage and Colony, and George R. R. Martin serve as principal showrunners.
Okay.
George R. R. Martin is a showrunner? God, he really doesn't fucking
I thought he
wanna
makes
write.
video games.
He programs them himself.
He
He filmed this whole series himself.
I want to. That's interesting. I can't wait for the blog post. I don't want to get into it, but like, I feel like he has been significantly downplaying his role in this, and this article is calling him a showrunner.
Oh, well, there was a blog post not too long ago where he was very explicit about how involved he is with all these projects that aren't Winds of Winter.
Right.
He was basically like, everyone wants to know Winds of Winter, but I'm not writing, not saying I'm not writing that, but like, that's not my focus right now. I have all these other things going on. all these shows and other projects, like other book projects related to Song of Ice and Fire. So yeah, he's been more clear of late that he just does not give a shit, and he's working on his beloved television and such.
I think, I guess just to touch briefly on it, I think obviously it's easy to make fun of the fact that he just keeps talking about how he's writing and it's never coming. I think personally, I don't really care anymore. Like,
we're at the point where we can just forget it's even.
And like, I mostly just sympathize with the guy. Like, he's got, he's comfortable now. Like, let him fucking do his own thing. He's an old man.
Yeah.
Like, if he wants to just fucking write TV shows or edit wildcards, who cares?
I've never read those books. Obviously, I did watch the show. I do feel bad for the people who have been with the series since the beginning.
I don't, because like I get that, but like but like I don't know. Are you reading it so that you get to the end and you have like you have 7 books on your shelf, or
I think
the first 5 books like that worth it?
I don't know.
I think it's in no way wrong to expect a conclusion, to expect some sort of closure.
When you consume a piece of media, you're God, I was about to say something and I completely forgot. I'm sorry. Flask, go on.
No, just
it's an investment. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You're investing time and a piece of yourself into a series, and you do want to see how something ends.
Yeah,
dude,
I 100% agree. I mean, this is kind of like a side thing for that.
I think
Go ahead, Andy.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, this is kind of like books, but there's a bunch of manga that I read that have been like canceled, that just don't have an ending, and not knowing like the ending of certain stories, dude, it's a pain in the fucking ass.
I believe
I
get that, but like the reason why it hurts is because of how good it is. You know what I mean? And like the fact that there's not an ending doesn't mean that the things that you read before then aren't valuable.
No, it doesn't invalidate the entertainment you've gotten already.
Like Berserk, like, would definitely be something that I intend to read at some point.
Definitely.
Knowing for the fact that it's never going to end.
Well, I was actually just going to ask you that. Would you get into a series?
I'm more. I agree with both sides. I see that.
I would still recommend unfinished things that, even if I know they're probably or definitely never going to get finished, just because of their existing entertainment value. However, I think it's also completely valid to expect closure for a series that has a certain like progression laid out. There is definitely an expectation of like A Song of Ice and Fire being finished that has been, betrayed.
I feel like if he's not going to finish it, just come out and say it.
It's about the friends you meet along the way.
I guess I'm not disagreeing with you, Flask, but like the vitriol that Martin gets is not warranted despite that expectation. Is more what I'm saying.
Sure.
Not that expectation is invalid, but like it's also, I think I really do think missing the point of like actioning on that expectation into like active vitriol. Or
I think vitriol in the way that you're describing is unwarranted.
The type of narrative I see is like often people will say that like his work is invalid if it's not finished. It's like that is not.
No, that is weird. That's definitely not.
I don't think that's true. I believe that you're not owed anything. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I think.
I do. I think I would feel how you feel. I know that you're at a point now where you're in the acceptance period, but there was a point definitely where you were, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
Angry.
I wanted more. Yeah. Because I enjoyed it so much, I wanted more. That's more of what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying anybody on this podcast is missing it, but like when I see people talking about this book, so often they're just missing like the forest for the trees kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand that like this desire this like burning desire you have to read The Winds of Winter is like a testament to how good the content you've already read is and what you've enjoyed of it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You and me would never like, even though we're book readers who enjoyed what we read, you and me would never like get on the internet and start asking for anything.
Of course not. No. No.
There are
I
other
wouldn't
people
do
who do
that
that.
in general, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that. That's weird that people are fully confident in doing that. Something like that.
That being said, I mean, just to balance it, does George bring it on himself? He absolutely does. I mean, he sets
I think
deadlines
so.
and then just doesn't meet them.
I was gonna say, yeah. Well, the special case with
that's the
him is,
biggest
he
thing,
does
yeah.
that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Is he always says,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm working on it. It's almost done," and then it's like, "All right, then finish it."
His story
Like
has
I
changed
said-
many times over the years.
You should just hey guys, I'm not really working on it that much. I'll probably finish it, but don't hold your breath. And I think people would have to accept that and not go crazy.
And you know what? Jamie Lee Curtis is lobbying to join One Piece's live action series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
Let her do it. Let her be the One Piece.
Let Jamie Lee Curtis do whatever she wants.
I saw you guys joking about this a little bit, but so this is a Netflix's live action One Piece series. You guys actually don't think that this is ever going to happen, right?
No way.
The show in general.
Right?
I mean,
No,
the show is-
Jamie Lee. I mean, the show's definitely happening, right?
The show is having Jamie Lee. I don't know. It could. As far as this,
Well, I meant,
she was
like-
It's not
interviewed
like
on the
that's an important
Oscars. She said
character.
she wanted to do it. Apparently, she has a daughter who is popular in the cosplay world. I'm just reading this article.
Yeah, she does.
And she was
Or
on
yes.
like a One Piece podcast where she talked about Jamie Lee Curtis being a fan.
Oh, cool.
But what we were joking about, and I do think it's true, is that this character doesn't show up until 50 or something episodes, 40 something episodes in. I don't think the show will get that far. I think they're going to do a season, which is going to cover maybe the first 20 or 30 episodes, and I think it's going to get canceled.
They're gonna do a little Cowboy Bebop.
Yo,
Yeah.
this is their One Piece when you think about it, because like the idea that like if you could just nail a show that you can iterate on by following the blueprint of 1,000 episode anime, you know what I mean? Like
Genius.
it would be
There's just no way
genius
it'll
if
work.
it could work. If it could
Print
work,
money.
right?
Dude, I was gonna imagine like the parallel world where it's successful.
Like
And
can
like
see
you
it-
have just crazy A-listers playing like fucking
it
people
becomes
from
like a fucking 20-season show.
yeah, dude.
Anime doesn't-
Dude, that'd
it
be
just-
fucking nuts.
I talked about before. It doesn't translate well over, and especially
Oh,
One Piece.
absolutely, no doubt, no
because
doubt.
One
no doubt.
Piece, unless you watch it, you don't really realize it. It's like I would say at least like 1/3 like a comedy manga or anime. Like there's tons of gags, like people's eyeballs popping out of their head, and it just like Tom and Jerry shit like that. You seen the one thing I posted that just it wouldn't look Uncanny Valley style in real life. Like
You're
it just-
exaggerated.
you can't
Who Framed
get it.
Roger Rabbit eyes?
Well, yeah, except for Who Framed Roger Rabbit is probably the only instance where I think that has ever worked. And they're not going to take the time to do some Who Framed Roger Rabbit shit.
Oh no, hell no.
So no, these will never work ever.
What do you you know what?
Absolutely.
How awful do you think the when Luffy does his rubber moves? How awful do you think that's gonna
I think
look?
it's going to look fucking gross.
It's funny they there's that new the Miss Marvel show coming out with Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and her powers in the comic are that she's an Inhuman first of all, and her powers are like not stretching but just embiggening, as she calls it, parts of her body, so she can just make her
Embiggening.
hands giant and just crush you or something like that, or like make her legs really long and step
wish you
over
would.
buildings or something. But they're not doing that for the live action show they're making. They're giving her like energy powers, and people are like speculating on why that is. First of all,
I
people
bet they
think are
screen
like,
tested it.
yeah, like maybe it just looks weird on screen, or stretching powers are hard in general, even for CG at this point.
I can't say that
or
for
they just
sure,
didn't-
but I put money down. That's it.
Right. Or they just didn't
Or-
want this would be the lamest excuse, or they just didn't want their like Muslim representative character, their first like character of this type, who is a good representative character, but they didn't want her looking like silly in that way, like they didn't want her to look like have like an ugly power, if you know what I mean.
Right.
They wanted her to have like
a.
a cool power.
Why do they I feel like they keep switching out her powers, right? Like this is like another one she gets, or is it like she gets both? Or
In the comic, she has them beginning. In the show, she's gonna have like
Are
energy
you thinking
powers.
of Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel?
maybe I am.
That might be the case. Yeah, Carol Danvers has gone through more stuff in the
That
the
is a
comics.
different character. This is the character that was in the Avengers video game.
Right. The
Oh,
one they focused on weirdly. Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anyway, that was just an anecdote that I was reminded of. Yeah, stretching may
yeah,
look very strange on screen.
Speaking of stretching, I personally think that Jamie Lee Curtis is more likely to get a role in the new JRPG One Piece Odyssey.
Yeah, that
Really?
was a stretch.
Do you?
No,
Really?
no, I was just stretching.
Oh,
I mean, there's not much to say about this. They just announced that it's going to come out.
I was just curious, John. I actually just put it up here because I had a question. You played the other one. What's it called on the Game Pass?
World Seeker. Oh no, then the Game Pass that was Raging Blood or something, Boiling Blood. I don't know.
So One Piece Odyssey, I think people are saying looks like it's a One Piece game in the Dragon Quest engine. Perhaps. Does that excite you, or do you like the other games better?
Well, no. So the one that was on Game Pass is like a Dynasty Warriors run around punch game and whatever. I don't really give a shit. The one I played on Steam, though, World Seeker, it just looks like a sequel to that. And that was a run around adventure game that did have. They're calling it an RPG, but I don't think, unless we see gameplay, I don't think that it's in the Dragon Quest sense, like you get in a fight, it's gonna be a turn-based combat. I think they mean
kind of what it looks like.
a little bit. That's what it looked like, but they didn't show the combat. That's what I'm worried about.
Right, I see what
because
you're saying.
in the previous game, if you look up World Seeker, it looks very similar, and it does have RPG elements. You do gain experience, you level up certain stats in your characters, and decide what abilities they get. And there's armor and weapons. So in that sense, very much an RPG, but combat wise, it's just like a adventure game, run around punching people. I didn't see any combat in that, so I'm gonna hold my breath until I do. Either way, though,
more of an what we might call like an action RPG, perhaps, right?
Yeah, definitely. But either way, yeah, I'll probably play it.
Okay. It's been a long one, friends, but we're at the very end here. Last news story, and I think it's a fun one to end on. This is a quote from PCGamer. Star Trek Resurgence is the first Trek anything to capture the spirit of the 90s shows in a long, long time.
okay.
Well,
What is Resurgence?
it was it.
That new
It's a
video
new
game.
Telltale-like game
Oh,
taking place in Star Trek. Quote, within 5 minutes, Resurgence's captain was lamenting a catastrophic warp core malfunction and dropping technobabble like 10,000 teradynes per second while we stared at a viewport.
Didn't we see this game before?
We've
saw
seen
a
a little
trailer.
bit of it, but this is the first hands-on third-party impression.
Yeah, we saw nothing basically.
20 minutes later, and the senior officers were sitting across the table from Ambassador Spock, talking about their mission to negotiate a tricky peace between two alien races. Diplomacy was the obvious answer, but what type of diplomacy? A polite debate ensued.
Now, when we saw the trailer, we were not impressed with the dialogue we were seeing. But obviously, maybe that was just
All I remember was
trailers.
explosions and the both options pulsating in your face.
This impression seems to come away with the idea that this guy was really impressed by the vibe, and I brought him back to the 90s stuff, and he really liked that.
Well, that's cool.
But he also expressed concern about the scope of the project and what he'd seen thus far. That the specifically the technical stuff about it, like the animations and stuff, didn't really necessarily look great. So I get the impression that whether good or bad, it's going to come out looking pretty cheap and jank. But doesn't mean it can't have a fun, good story,
And the studio, Dramatic Labs, is that studio that was the former Telltale people, right? Yeah, so
right.
maybe they didn't learn their lesson in terms of animation quality.
One of the other things that we were left unknown about. The developers told me that the full game will have some actiony bits to break up the conversations, but in the demo I didn't do much more than walk a few feet and click on bits of the environment to get a little color commentary. So I don't know what the developers mean by actiony bits in this type of game space. Right. I mean, Walking Dead had actiony bits as well, and some of those were fun. Like the cinematic action sequences could be cool.
It looks like.
By the way, I could see this being a game I'm gonna play. I'm more excited about it now than I think I was after the last thing.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Flask?
No, I don't know if we mentioned this like last time we talked about this, but the fact that they're wearing the last type of costume that was in the later DS9 costume. Jesus, the gray the gray and black jumpsuits with the color undershirt costumes that are from the later seasons of DS9. That means that it's set like maybe the latest era in Star Trek, except for Picard.
No, it is Resurgence gives off big Next Generation vibes, and not just because it's set a couple years after Nemesis, the final and oh so bad TNG film.
Okay, so it's set. Yeah, basically set at the latest era before the new stuff.
Yeah, but it's like a couple years later, not like 20 or 30 years later. You know?
Mm-hmm. Enough time at the time when they're still wearing the gray and black jumpsuits I don't like.
Yeah. Okay, friends. That was a podcast. That was it. That was done.
Ew.
I really appreciate all the fans for joining us along on that ride. That was a lot of fun. Thanks to all the fans. Audience, you can hang up your phones now. I'm no longer on the other line. It's just a void of despair and woe, where you're just gonna have to wait 7 days before the next release of the Broken Campfire podcast.
7 days.
Watch some One Piece.
You kind of ruined it, Vito. I mean, that was...
Sorry, we got ghost hunting to do.
I kind of had a fucking flow going, and...
Yeah, we had ghost hunting to do.
Yeah, it's
we
fine.
do
Flask,
have we have to
just,
go to work.
You can just cut it whenever, Flask. That's fine.
Nah, you don't have to. You don't have to cut it. But,
you just cut it. Hey, on the real though, we're gonna play Midnight Ghost Hunt. We just bought that game while we were on the podcast. The game just came out today, so we'll get an impression for you next week. Our impression on you, listener, is nothing but glowing. I said impression on you, Flash, not of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you heard me. I get you. Yeah, okay. Good night.